Mr. No Baggage here. I wanted to do a video today that's very dear to my heart. And it's about a childhood friend that I grew up with and how he changed, or what happened to him changed my life at the age of 17. And so to give a little bit of a backstory, I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. Well, basically, I was raised in Birmingham, Alabama, shall I say. And Birmingham was a very civil rights rich, black rich town. However, just like a lot of cities in America, it has its rougher parts. The west side, east side, south side has a lot of different parts that are rough, hood, if you will. And so growing up there wasn't easy. Actually, I don't know if you've ever seen the show First 48. The very first episode, the very first season was actually shot in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, Birmingham is a beautiful place. Outside of that, it has a lot to offer if you're not a part of that. But growing up young in the 80s and 90s, it was a different time. Still is a different time, probably worse now. But I said all that to say, the growing up on the west side of town, I lived on the east side as well, but most of my memories that I really remember were on the west side. And so, being a young boy, I don't want to say teenager because I might have been a little bit younger than teenage, but in my teenage, early, preteens, into teenage years, you get into a lot. Typical boy stuff, running around, getting bikes and doing just little stupid things, child things, getting in trouble here and there, nothing serious, and I had a friend that used to live behind my house in these apartments. Didn't really know the kid at all. It was interesting. We met just kind of like walking down the street, and I had this bike, and it was like a chrome bike with some white, what's it called? It's a white rims, tripod rims. And it was a pretty cool bike my dad had bought for me. And I was just hanging out with some friends, and he asked to ride it. I was hesitant because I thought he was going to steal it. And so he didn't. He rode the bike, rode her down, came back up. And then we pretty much kind of hung out from there. But then I knew I could trust him. He was a small, light-skinned kid with some green eyes. So, you can't trust too many kids with green eyes at that time down south. But no, it was cool, man. And we started all hanging out amongst the other kids in the neighborhood. I went to a different school from them. They went to a school, I think, called Glenn. I went to a school called Bush at that time. And so we all started just to hang out because my neighborhood was right between those, not right, but it was between those two schools. So we all started hanging out. We began to grow up with each other, and used to go to the skating rink with each other, with his cousins and friends and stuff. Got to meet his older relatives' mom, and then he started spending the night at my house. I never spent the night at his house, but he would spend the night at my house sometimes. My pops would drop him off at the skating rink with me sometimes. Those were good times, great innocent years, As we got older, our worlds kind of started to separate, because we got older, and our friends, we had different friends at that point, and we started to have, I won't say different lifestyles, but different ways of handling our lifestyles. Because I used to be out, I'm going to be honest, I used to be out in the streets at that time, and just running around doing whatever my friends wanted to do. I never really had any beef or problems. Anytime I had problems, it was somebody else's problems or beef. I just had to, jump in with them. But nevertheless, moving into later part of middle school, we started, kind of separate. So we didn't spend a lot of time. I think he went away until all his business. I think he may have gotten locked up or something to that effect. I know we talked on the phone a few times, see each other here and there, but we kind of didn't have the same time that we used to have. Once we got to high school, he did come to my high school, went to the same high school for a little while, and we would hang out from time to time just around the neighborhood. But it just wasn't the same because his group, they were still my friends. We would hang out sometimes in the neighborhood. It was just certain things that I didn't, participate in. And then certain things I did that he didn't participate in. The other friends I went to school with and different things of that nature. So they were a little bit more, out there. At first, it used to always just be about girls and having fun, And then, all we were talking about just going with some girls and stuff. And then after a while, it just, something shifted and it just became about, fighting and all this, beefing and stuff like that, which to me, really, in hindsight, looking at it, I always thought, like, what is this beef about? It's not even about anything. Like, whether they were beefing with someone else or, beefing with each other. And I think they used to beef wherever they went. He had two friends from the neighborhood. They were both brothers. And they would always get into something with someone, no matter where they went. And, it went from just chasing girls to beefs. And, so as we gotten older, we started to part ways even more. And then I still hang out with some people from school from time to time. Not as much as I used to, but I would hang out with them because it was closest to my high school in Birmingham at that particular time. And I was in and out also too, because I got times where I was in New York. Just a sidebar, I was in New York, and I've lived other places also. But in between that time that I wasn't there, I was also in. Like I said, I was going back and forth between New York and Birmingham. So, but anyway, I will say the night that changed my life was in November 2005. It was so life-changing because, it's one of those days that it was just like a perfect day. It was just like a calm, cool, perfect day. And basically, I was on the west side of town, which is an area called Ensley. And I was already over there. I think maybe talking to some girl or something. I really don't remember what I was doing at that point. But I know where I was heading. I was heading back to the east side. Because at that time, my dad had moved from Ensley, which was another part of the change in my life, or he was getting ready to. But I was already living on the east side, but I would go back and forth to Ensley. So I was getting ready to get on the expressway to head back to the east side. And I was on 20th Street, 20th Street, Ensley, getting ready to go towards the highway. And I see all these police cars racing down 20th, coming from an area called 5 Points all the way down. I didn't think anything of it. I thought they were just probably chasing someone or something to that effect. So I continue on towards the east side, and I head towards the east side. I get home. I start laying in the bed, and less than 30 minutes later, I remember it was like 9:30, I received a call from this girl. And I remember like it was yesterday. I know exactly who it was. I won't say her name, but I know exactly who it was. She called me and said, I think my friend's name is Nathaniel. And she said, I think Nate got shot. I think he dead. And I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a joke because I was just right there as the cops, went by. And she's like, no, I'm serious. I think he just got killed. And the fact that she called me was, kind of crazy in itself. And I'm just gonna be honest. I broke down. I didn't want to believe it, but I was like, nah, because I had never had a friend up until that point that had, died or anything like that. And so once I came to realize that it was true, I think she said, no, I go back. I think she said he got shot, but it doesn't look like he may have made it. And then, so I was just hoping to believe. And I still broke down because I didn't think it was, I didn't want anything to happen, but I was hoping he made it. So I don't remember what else happened after that. I think I called another friend, a mutual friend of ours. and then just waited to get confirmation. And yeah, he had passed at the tender age of 17. And that really broke me because I never lost a friend like that. And via gun violence. You know, I seen a lot, seen death and different things like that in the area, but no one that I actually knew. And so seeing him and knowing that he was gone officially, especially when I saw the casket, you know, really, after going to the grave, it really broke my heart because it didn't look like him. And it was when I saw him and, you know, and he was gone. Once he left, the neighborhood was not the same. It was like he was like the heart of our, you know, little, you know, community area, and it was never the same to me. And then that really changed my mind frame on. It changed my mind frame on all that hood stuff and street stuff. I was like, you know what, that was the camel that broke the straw. I was like, and I knew it was over nothing. I knew one side was beefing with another side over nothing. And just something in my mind just said, this ain't it. This ain't it, because this is over nothing. No money, nothing. And my pops had just moved from that side of town. And I was like, you know, it made no sense to me. And that kind of changed my direction in my life. I no longer wanted to hang out, you know, as much. I no longer wanted to be a part of any type of lifestyle like that. So at that point, I started to just, you know, focus on bettering my life and trying to go a different route, you know, just getting out of it. Because for me, there was no point in staying around. And then, you know, just start focusing on work and school and stuff like that. And it just broke my heart and changed my mind. I still went out and did, you know, had my fun and stuff like that, but it was a different type of fun. At that point, I wanted to grow up. I wanted to, because I'm like, this is not for me. And I said all this to say, a lot of times we go through a lot of these things and we have these beefs and we go through stuff and we don't realize a lot of it is over nothing. Somebody step on your shoes. Now you disrespect. Now you want to fight and shoot each other. Their shoes, man, it was an accident. Now, if it's on purpose, still you can talk about it like gentlemen or, you know, like, you know, whatever. But if it ain't on purpose, then you can figure that out. But I realized then that that's just not that's just not the lifestyle that I want to have. And I needed to change. So I started moving around differently. I started doing sales and everything. And it was all, that was the turning point on when I changed, because most of the stuff out here is over nothing. So if it's not about anything, you know, in the back of your mind, you want to be there for your homies and this, that, and the third. But sometimes you gotta move. You gotta go your own place, or else you're gonna be stuck forever. And or not here, based off somebody else's stuff. So that changed my life, man. And when I had my son, I named my child after him, and it means God's prayer. It also means God's prayer, so it had a meaning to it. And in honor of him, I wanted my son to have that name, because that really was a pivotal point for my life. So I said all this to say is, make sure you're doing what's best for you, and don't put yourself in between other people's beefs, as well as everything is not that serious. Let some of that go. Let some of it go. If it ain't about nothing, at the minimum, at least about money. And even then, if it's just a few dollars, it's not even worth it. Let it go. But it helped me grow and become a better man and become the man I am today. That was a starting point. So I just want to give that tidbit, you know, tell that story. And if you want to like, subscribe. If not, enjoy your day. No bags.